Oh, yeah, boxing fans. Beautiful Australia. Awesome landscapes. Nature at its finest. The great outback. Everything about Australia seems just great. It's even a great place to have a major boxing event, especially an event of this magnitude, where the stakes are extremely high, where the winner experiences the thrill of victory and the loser the agony of defeat. George Kambosos Jr., a true warrior to the core, and within the short period of time that the belts have been in his possession, he has become very attached to his belts. He has sworn that they will be staying with him in Australia at any cost. Devin Haney once said he'd fight George Kambosos in his own backyard if he has to. And true to his words, he came to Kambosos' backyard to relieve him of his precious possessions and return home with all the belts and also the title of Undisputed. And so the story unfolds. As the boxers settled into the first round, Haney was first to strike, and his weapon of choice was the jab. Haney's jab was swift, precise, and often found its target with great ease. From that point on, it appeared to be target practice for Haney whenever he summoned his jab. Kambosos, on the other hand, did not or could not make adjustments to Haney's jab once it became obvious that it would need to be addressed. As a matter of fact, Kambosos aided Haney's jab by slinging his left hand low most of the times. George Kambosos failed to make the necessary adjustments. If a boxer does not make adjustments, he continues doing the same non-productive things over and over again in hopes that it will work eventually. But during that time, the opponent is usually doing better and racking up the points on the cards. In a 12-round fight, a boxer has the luxury of time. He can try plan A for a few rounds, and if that's not working, go to plan B or even C, providing he has a plan or plans. Simply put, Kambosos failed to realize a change of his tactics were necessary. Kambosos continued with the same old approach as the rounds continued on, and Haney continued to rack up the points. Unfortunately for Mr. Kambosos, in scenarios such as this, the boxer that does not adapt usually finds himself in a situation that requires him to press the issue greatly and try to KO the opponent out of desperation. Haney demonstrated a greater ring IQ than Kambosos from beginning to end. Knowing that Kambosos was still very dangerous at any given time, he would often tie Kambosos up when he got too close, which prevented Kambosos from being effective inside the pocket. Kambosos appeared lost and slightly confused. It was quite obvious his frustration was building as he missed frequently. As the rounds flew by, his time was quickly running out, and it did not appear that the possibility of a KO would occur due to the elusiveness of Haney. Devin Haney dictated the fight from the first to the last bell, and in all due fairness, Kambosos had his moments, but they were few and far apart. I believe that for one to be a true champion, one must defend their belts many times over. Becoming a champion and losing your belts on the first defense makes you a temporary champion. George Kambosos Jr. was indeed a temporary champion, and although he had possession of the belts long enough to become attached to them, they were never truly his. They were on loan, just like the great Lennox Lewis once said after losing his belts. But now it's Devin Haney's turns to be the true champion. He now has the burden and responsibility to keep the belts and defend them for many times while remaining undefeated and forever undisputed. And what a responsibility that will be